man. Free gems, free gem stream. I'm giving out gems, man. I'm giving out gems. All right, man. If y'all can hear me, I'm gonna go on a little ramble, a little rant. Let me put on my little rain, all right, so I could get in that mode. A little dark noise. I can't even hear my dark noise, man. That's tough. As a matter of fact, I probably are in business. All right, man. Free gems. What are we gonna be talking about? What is the topic of today, man? What is the topic of today? Topic of today, man. What is it? Let's talk about individuality. Let's talk about the idea of being an individual and a collective. Welcome to the stream. It's your boy Draco. You already know what I'm doing. I'm getting this money. I find anything that I'm saying to be even a smidgeling, even a smidgeling of value, I'm gonna need you to hit that follow button, all right? Just follow your boy. You trying to run it up. I'm giving out game. I'm here to help y'all improve while I'm improving. Giving y'all game on what I'm going through and how to navigate this life effectively. Trusting God first. I'm not even a messenger. I'm just a fool. I think he knows something. I'm somebody that knows nothing, trying to just make sense of it all. Trusting God first. Way before you trust in the dude you see on the internet. But we giving out free game, man. We giving out free game. We got in here. Nobody. All right, let's get it. Let's lock it in. Got our tuna. Y'all let me know if y'all can hear me. Individuality, right? What does it mean to be an individual? Well, I'll let you I'll talk to y'all about the idea of being an individual. Somebody will answer this damn phone. Maybe I could start. Should be missing out my stream, man. So why is it so hard? Let's talk about how hard it is to be an individual. I believe it's extremely hard to be an individual in today's society, right? Because you have to factor in multiple things. If you're working in a place, especially since the society is so cut and dry, you gotta listen to you gotta protect your income. So let's say like this place, you gotta work a job. That means you might not be able to say everything that's on your mind. I believe you cannot truly be who you are unless you are in one, a place of leverage, or two, you just simply don't care. So leverage. You need leverage before you could fully be who you want to be. And you need some sort of control and again, leverage over your life before you could really be who you want to be in a society. Because until then, you're just wearing a mask, right? You're gonna come across a lot of people that aren't gonna think the way that you think, and it's gonna anger you like it angers me. You gotta sort of throw all of that shit out the window. I wonder if y'all could hear me, man. You gotta sort of throw all of that shit out the window, man. What's good, y'all? What's good, Nikki? What's good, Lincoln? Got some people up in there. Giving out free game while I'm at work, man. Y'all let me know if y'all can hear your boy. I was talking about what it means to be an individual. It's hard in today's society. Not gonna lie. Is it so hard? Well, because you're gonna find yourself in multiple situations and places in which people are gonna starkly think differently than you. Like I said before, that means you might not be able to say everything that's on your mind and have people agree with it. I'm not talking about being all types of weird, saying all type of, type of stuff. There's some people that want to say different things just out of the sake of being different. But I legitimately don't think you could be who you want to be until you have some sort of control or leverage over your life. So when I make these videos about, maybe it's good to stay with your parents until you have money saved up or work that job until you could do this or do that. That's mainly to expose a lot of younger people to what I'm going through right now. The idea of not having that leverage and then having that leverage, whether it's through your job choice, your choice of where you want to live, etc. Because not having that leverage and having to sort of be subservient to how other people think and being in these environments and being in environments in which you can't really say what you want to say, be who you want to be, to the point where you're literally just putting on a mask every single day. That shit is gonna hurt. And the mask is starting to come off of me. I'm starting to not care a lot and a lot of things, and I love it. I'm sort of, I don't know if you guys are into philosophy, but I'm starting to veer towards the absurdist sort of like doctrine. I'm a spiritual dude, but I'm starting to realize that at one point you just have to stop caring. Be who you want to be, right? I like it's one of, if not the most hated thing for me to have to smile or laugh at when people say things or this or just act like a person that you don't want to be. That shit burns my soul. That is hell to me. The fact that you would have to put on a act. And I got tired of putting on an act a very long time ago. Overnight shift, yup. They don't understand the things I say on Twitter. Yup. Twitter is an interesting place though, right? If you think about Twitter, Twitter is like Twitter is worse than Instagram. Twitter is on the TikTok is almost like Twitter now, right? And guess who's running it, right? So Elon Musk is running it, and Elon Musk is the most smartest, dumbest person I've ever seen in my entire life. But that's a whole different concept. That's nearing the politics sort of stuff, and I'm not talking about politics. I'm simply saying it's really hard for you to be who you want to be until you get leverage over your life, right? Because if you got to stay like, let's say, why is there so many subservient people and so many people that's not speaking out and not taking action against, let's say, the stuff that's happening within our government right now? As well, listen, look, if you start to express your views, whatever they are, and again, this is not a political sort of route I'm taking this. I'm just saying in terms of, let's say you don't want to talk to people at work or you just want to work and just leave. There was a video that's like a really famous video on YouTube. It's like they really do hate when you just work, leave, go home, and they know nothing about you. And that's true. There's a lot of people in the society that just want to always talk and want to know shit about you and want to associate when you're really just trying to get up. You're just trying to secure some shit for yourself and your family. And they hate that. They hate that about you, right? Because that shows individuality. When everybody's on the same page when it comes to the goofiness, they love you. As soon as you start to like speak out against certain things and as soon as you start to really show that you're not a bot, and when I mean bot, I don't mean a person that's not taking action in their life. I'm talking about a person that's purely online, not really able to have their own opinions, not able to like process anything other than what they see online and then have their own thought process. That's what a bot is to me. And I believe that we're all like conscious human beings. But what a bot essentially is a person that isn't, basically they don't got nothing going on in their life other than social media drama. political factions, who they listen to. That's what a bot is. You don't have free thought, right? You think about a robot is programmed. That's what a bot is. And when you're not like that, a lot of people are going to be mad at you, right? But unfortunately, what I came to the conclusion of you is you kind of have to play the part. You have to play the part as one of these people within the society because if not, you're just going to get offed. And what I came to the conclusion of is if you start building up leverage now, you're going to get to the point where that stuff is not going to be a factor. It's just going to start being like, it is what it is. Do you believe in Jesus? I believe in God, yeah. I'm Christian, but I don't know that much about the Bible. I grew up going to church and shit, but I really don't know that much about the Bible. And religion is another talk that we could get into, man. If you're finding any value from anything that I'm saying, just hit that follow button, all right? That subscribe button. Y'all let me know if y'all could hear me when I walk back and forth. I'm just trying to see if the audio is being picked up through the AirPods. So I don't always have to be near it. Religion is another slippery slope. Just because I see bad people on a daily basis that have crosses and they have shit on their bio, John 13 this, Psalms this. People be in relationships and they be cheating on their partner, but they have like crosses on their necks and stuff. Whole bunch of religious people, and you start to come to the conclusion that religion itself, I believe the mysticism that exists around religion is true, but I can't take man's word for it, right? So religion is a really icky subject for me because every time I've took man's word for it, I've been disappointed with man when it comes to religion. What do I mean by that? Is that of course nobody's perfect. We're not supposed to be perfect. That's God, right? That's what God exists for. But to a certain extent, religion is supposed to set the guidelines of what a person is supposed to be. It says you can make mistakes. You can do this, you can do that. You might make mistakes a couple times in your life, but I do believe there's a point of no return, right? In which you just made too many mistakes and you're just tampering with the religious side of things. You're just tampering with that doctrine. So there's a whole bunch of people that's walking around society. There's a lot of people that's walking around in society that use religion as like a holy sort of, you know how like you play League of Legends or you play MMO and you have like attributes, you could equip things to you and you could equip like, let's say a cross and it gives you, let's say plus 30 health. That's what a lot of people do with religion. They sort of see religion, they see spirituality. They'll get the tattoos, maybe the 333 on their neck. They'll get the cross on their neck. And then they use that as a crutch. And essentially, as long as you got that on you, you good. You could do wrong, but you'll always be forgiven, right? That's what a lot of people do, and I don't agree with that. So I do think there's a lot of people around in this world that are walking around. They are religious, spiritual, whatever, and they're just using that as a way to still feel good about themselves whenever they do wrong. And I don't agree with that at all. I think that's really stupid. I think that's why a lot of people are starting to fall back from religion. And I think religion legitimately is good. It don't matter if you believe in, and of course, believe in whatever you want to believe in. I believe in God. I'm Christian, but I don't know that much about Jesus. I don't know that much about Allah. I don't know much about a lot of things. I do believe that they all fall back to the same sort of principles, which is love and balance, right? But that's my take on religion. I think that a lot of people, and initially I was talking about just individuality, and it's really hard to be an individual in a society, right? I'll sort of double back to that, but that's my take on religion. I believe in God, Jesus. I believe in Jesus and all that stuff too. I just don't know that much about it, and I'm not on this live to give y'all religious advice. I'm on this live to give you advice about how the world is moving, not the inherent nature of the world, not the laws of the world, maybe the laws of the world, but just how man acts. Because if we know anything, we know about human nature, right? You got to understand human nature first before you can understand anything else. Because that's what you deal with on a daily basis, yours and others. Y'all follow up if y'all like this this value. If only everyone knew that every soul is forgiven. I believe that because we're human beings, right? Not perfect. You're at work, you can talk while working, keep your hands moving. Yup. If I'm some people operate that way up, why would you believe in something you know very little about? And I'm out of cereal. Toss me a box of food for you pebbles. That's a good question. Why would you believe in something you know little about? Because being religious sort of gives the guidelines of. All right, so I'm gonna counter that question with this question, right? If there's if there's no inherent meaning to life, which is something that I believe in, right? Does that mean that you just do what you want to do and you just say fuck everybody and just do terrible things? No inherent meaning in life. I'm gonna veer towards the path of doing good rather than the path of doing evil. I think that's not crazy to say. So that's where the believing in something you don't know about thing exists, right? Is either you believe in something or you believe in nothing, right? But that's what I say. You don't. I'm another person that doesn't know, and I believe that it could be anything. We could be alone in this universe, or we could have a God. You do believe religion is man-made, right? Hey, man, I'm not gonna. I personally won't agree all the way with that, but I do think that. I mean, if religion comes from man, then religion must come from God or the Creator. That just makes sense, right? Everything is gonna stem from the Creator because everything comes from one. And that's a whole different sort of debate we could get into. But I do agree, a lot of the aspects of religion most possibly might be man-made. That's not a bad point to bring up. This is why we need these discussions because I don't know everything. I'm trying to make sense of it all, right? While working this job. But I like having these discussions because we do need some sort of. I don't need answers, right? But I do want to get closer to the truth and how I'm supposed to be living this life. But yes, that's what I was getting at earlier. Religion is being tampered with by man. It's being sort of looked at under the guise or the scope of man. And man will use that to benefit his own needs and his own agenda. Now that's a great point. Why do people say that? Why did RPS say that, right? We are all God as a collective. I 130% agree. And I believe that the truth also lies in semantics, in how we say things, in the word choice. I believe God gave us words and gave us literature for a reason, right? A lot of people won't agree with this, but if God made you, that means you must be a part of God. That must you might have some sort of capability of God. Creation, especially infinite creation, just possibility and entropy, that exists on an infinite level. As human beings, we're able to create, and if not create infinite possibilities, we could create things that can create infinite possibilities, right? We're all God to a certain extent because we came from that. If we didn't come from God, then what do we come from now? You could say entropy, disorder within the system. It just all happened randomly. Maybe entropy is God, but God, the thing about all of this shit is that it really is semantics at the end of the day, right? It's how you say it. Semantics is not proof. Yeah, I get it. But what is the proof then if it's not semantics? We try to get back on track here, right? Whew, my hands is too clean, all right? My hands is too clean. Did I zoom in? All right. So what was I saying before, right? We was talking about religion. Semantics is not proof. If we're all, if God made us, then that means he had to make us from himself. If not, then where did the matter? Where did the idea come from? We're made in God's image, right? So we must be God to a certain extent. I don't think that's crazy to say. Are we still dirt compared to what God is, compared to its potential? Sure. Let's say that. What was I saying before? Religion and business don't mix together. Yeah, they definitely don't. Maybe RPS could get me back on track because I forgot what I was saying. Because like when it comes to this shit, it could go so many different ways, and it usually does. Because when you talk about religion, you start to talk about. I came to the conclusion that religion, spirituality, science, and mathematics really might just all be the same thing. Which then delves into really deep topics like: Are we living in a computer simulation? If mathematics, religion, 3D, 4D, and 5D are all the same thing. Things like gematria and angel numbers having to do with math. That's how far it goes. Like the rabbit hole just gets deeper and deeper, right? And I don't know that much about angel numbers and gematria. That might just be another government psyop. And gematria is basically an ancient number system in which people are able to predict events. I don't know the validity of all those things, but it is cool on paper. But there's so many, the proof is the research looking for the facts that tie into the truth. Is in the research. The great Dolores Cannon was a past life regressionist. She found a way to contact our higher selves. Of all the thousands of people she regressed, they all say the same: "You're all forgiven." I had a lady friend that told me to do a past life regression. I don't know if I did it correctly, but apparently in my past life I was an aristocrat around like the 1980s, and I drove myself off of a cliff in a car because I like money too much. That was my past life regression. I don't know all that stuff is valid. I don't know the validity of it, but those things are sort of cool, right? And I'm starting to see myself be a lot more ingrained in this idea of money, kind of, sort of, but not the way religion portrays it, which is deceptive. Yeah, religion is extremely deceptive, and this is what I wanted to say before. Why are so many people so critical of religion? Well, we have these pastors that are teaching religion, right? Apparently, Joel Osteen is he has like a super church, and when you go to church, right? You know when you go to confess in front of God, they ask for your money, and if that's being done on a large scale at these mega churches, these big ceremonies in which people are talking about religion, and they're also taking your money, like where's that money going? Is it going to help world hunger? Is it going to do actually good things? If it's going into some dude's pockets, if this dude is a man of God, he should be living the most basic sort of life. He should be living a life in which, you know, you have a nice house, a decent. He's saying, you can't use your money, but are too, and then live your life like that. But if you are a famous pastor and you have a mega mansion, there might be something wrong with that. I won't lie. Man's ideas is not the same as the idea of the living in the Most High, Yahweh. I agree. That's very true. Our idea of this life might pale to comparison. That's what I say. We're all just, and a large part of religion is just really just taking someone's word for it, right? We're all just kind of grasping at straws here. We don't really know what the fuck is going on. But I do think that God is profound enough to at least leave little bits of the truth in in our daily lives. Epstein files in the world knows everywhere we are. Epstein files are really Epstein files is like the mainstream awakening of people realizing that people are very bad in this world, right? There's people that still think this world is inherently good. Let's talk about balance. Like, is the world an evil place? Is it a good place? It's both. Now, I did grow up Christian, but I didn't really pay attention when I went to church. I was mainly sleeping, right? I do think there's a lot of credence behind religion because I have friends that are in different religious factions and groups, and seeing how they are able to now life in immense amount of strength and resilience they have, I do believe that there might be some credence behind it. I think a regular person that is extremely dedicated and devout in their faith can change a person's perspective about religion. And that's what's happened to me. And I also respect their religion. I don't care if you are Jewish or Muslim or Christian, I will respect you for having something to believe in or just having a moral compass in general, because I do think that's how more people exist on earth. But I do like Buddhism as a faith. Question everything, do it long enough, and you will be surprised. Exactly. I question pretty much everything in this life because we really don't know. But I do like Buddhism and Hinduism as faiths, as doctrines. Learning about Prince Siddhartha in high school, like I'm so in love with that sort of history, that sort of sector of faith and religion. But for me, balance in infinite creation is the things that I believe in. I'll say this: to me, this is this is the universe's laws. You do something good is probably going to happen in the air, and it's gonna tie into the third sort of universal truth, right? The highest ones. First universal truth. Two parts of that is something you do something good, and something good is probably going to happen to you. Second, you do something bad is probably going to happen to you. Third, the one that balances out balance. Sometimes bad shit might happen to you if you're a good person, and sometimes good things will happen to you if you're a completely bad person. So what is that? What do we call that? In science, what do we call that, right? Because I do believe science and religion kind of tie together. What do we call that? Well, when I was in middle school and high school, I learned about this thing called entropy. It's called within the system. The fact that sometimes things could just happen, if I'm remembering that right. Sometimes in this life, things might just happen. Good things, bad things, neutral things. But always expect the unexpected. That's what I live by. You do good, good will happen. You do bad, bad will happen. Both of those in a maybe category. And the one that is, the power of threes. Um, Sometimes things might just happen. It's kind of you have like the black and you have the white and you have the gray area. This is why I say sometimes that you might not know exactly what's going on in this life, but God might give you little nuggets of the truth. He'll give you some hints for sure. He ain't gonna outright show you he, she, they ain't gonna outright show you exactly what's going on within this life, but they'll give you hints. They will give you hints for sure. Remember that. It'd be kind of crazy if he was on this earth and didn't have some sort of hints on how shit is really going down behind the scenes, right? Buddhism and hedonism are both religions. Yeah, money is everything, food is everything, travel is everything for me. Religion resume equals must be better. When the heavens and the earth and billions of universes were made, quantum physics represents. So was E equals MC squared. When the heavens and earths and billions of universes were made, quantum physics were present. I mean, yeah, but we also don't know like what was going on during that period. The Big Bang is just a theory, right? These are all just theories. I mean, that's another good question. Like, does infinity really exist? I was thinking about this the other day. Is like, what is really infinite? Maybe space is infinite. I could try to cook like this. Like, I think I think God is sort of like what kind of shoes you got on. Check out my reels. Check out the my past reels. Go on my page and just scroll until you get to me talking about everybody working a job. You'll see a little sticker. These are the Crocs Echo Clogs. I really don't wear anything else on a daily basis, even when I'm not at work. I have these on most of the time. They're the most comfortable slippers slash shoes I've ever worn. Get yourself a pair. It helps me. It supports the channel. But yeah, let's get back to them. Can you bring them to God or Soul or Sneaker Con so I can legit check them? They're Crocs, bro. You don't need a legit check Crocs. But yeah, I do think God is just infinite creation. So creation exists within all of us. Creativity, right? I should say. So if we're on this earth, right, we're creating things. Things are always coming into possibility, into circumstance, whatever. Space might just be the playground in which those things inhabit that area, right? The space might be infinite in itself. Because you have infinite, if you have an infinite amount of items, you need an infinite amount of space to put those items. So I think space might just be a large vacuum, a large pocket of existence that just goes on forever. It continuously inhabits planets, universes, ideas, cereal boxes, whatever. It doesn't make it. I cannot fathom the idea that things can end. It just doesn't make any sense. It's like, well, if you reach the end of time, then where are you at? You're just in space. You're just in a pocket of existence. So that's what I think. It's all very when we talk about existence, it's and this is what I say. Like I like to talk about these things, but you'll hear it from me first. To focus on all this stuff is extremely futile. There's so many ways that existence could go. So is the living the most high. Exactly. If y'all know about DC and like Marvel Comics, the cosmic entities, especially like the Lantern Cores, I think that's one of the largest sort of um just little nuggets that the Most High will give us in terms of how shit is really going down on this. Like weaponizing love, turning it into something that can do massive good. The Love Core, the Love Lantern Core. I think the Green Lantern Core. When they say yeah, like your will or your hopefulness determines how powerful you are. So when you stop being hopeful and willful, you start to lose your power. Works the same way in real life, doesn't it? When you move more out of love, you become more powerful in life, don't you? Whoever made the Green Lantern mythos, they know something. They might be cooking. These are the conversations that I like having. Reality, right? I said this in my last live, I think. Why do we read comics? Why do we watch Superman? Why are we watching Wonder Woman? Why are we watching Spider Man? Think about all these heroes going through immeasurable, unfathomable odds, terrible calamities, terrible events. And for some strange reason, right, they're still able to pull out, come out on top, and maintain their their willfulness. They can maintain these standards. When you read Superman, it's not about him being able to fly and shoot lasers out of his eyes and then facing the Monitor or Lex Luthor. It's no. It's basically saying the Man of Steel, this indestructible, basically God, right, is still able to be a good person in the face of overwhelming odds and showing them that even a God, even a person that has all this power can still fall and can still go through bad things. But for some strange reason, he'll still come out on top and be a good person, regardless of whatever happens. So comics are really supposed to show you, especially superheroes, they're supposed to be examples for how we're supposed to be. Do you realize that TLA, I don't know what that means, used to audibly speak with his prophets, actually engage in conversations? Conversation is how we move the world forward. Not Hollywood, but on the real, yeah. There's a lot of game within life, yo. You don't gotta hear it from me. I also think that if you go out and experience life for yourself, you'll find your own meaning. You'll come to your own conclusions, which is probably the best way to do it. You could be into whatever you're into, living in the most high. Okay. Used to audibly speak with his prophets, actually engaging in conversations. Yup. But in what form was he speaking to them in? Was he speaking to them through prayer, through a physical body, or Jesus? What form? Can you just sense him? I think about this often too. Would God or the Most High be okay with me having this? Because at the end of the day, I could sit here and worship God day in and day out, right? Let's get into this conversation. I could sit and worship God day in and day out. But there's some people within society that legitimately just want to give God the will. I believe that's probably the worst thing you could do in this life. Just say, God is going to handle it. He's going to get me right. God is you're the driver of your life, right? God is the person that's telling you the directions, right? That's how I believe in it. You still got to drive the car. God might give you that faith. He might give you that thought process. You still got to be the one that takes action. Because if not, what's the point of you being on this earth if you're not going to do anything? He could give you the talent of knowing how to shoot a basketball, but until you have the faith in yourself or the balls to go out and do it, you're never going to realize who you're always meant to be. So you are the driver of your existence, of your life, and God is the one that's telling you the directions. He knows where to go. But when he tells you to turn right on this avenue, you need to turn. If he tells you, you know, to get rid of this person within your life because they are tampering your existence, you need to get rid of them. How will he tell you these things? He will tell you through signs, Hebrew, through his present emanations. Okay? God ultimately knows what's best for you, but he ain't gonna give it to you. What's the point of life then? Right? What is the point of life if he just don't give it to you? So let's go back to this. Why do I like talking about these things, right? Why am I just at this supermarket stocking and talking about this, talking about everything, everything that is? Because there's no real way to do this life, right? There's no real political faction to follow. There's no, even when it comes to religion, you have to figure that out. You have to figure out for yourself what you want. And someone said earlier that, we're all forgiven. I do believe that's true. Now, when it comes to certain inexcusable crimes, like certain bad things that people are currently doing in this world, I don't know about those things being forgiven. Right? I don't know if everything is forgiven. But we're human beings. We are meant to be emotional. We are meant to sometimes do horrific acts. Some of us, right? Not all of us. I don't know if all things are forgiven, but the average human being that is going through something, I do believe is forgiven. I'll say that. I don't agree that certain people doing heinous crimes should be forgiven. That would go against my philosophy that the world works off of a karmic system and entropy. Like I said before, if entropy exists, like when I hold myself to these sort of standards of semantics and these standards of like, you know, what I believe in, I have to also say that maybe a person could possibly reach a good existence on the after side, in the afterlife, if they simply done something that's bad. I don't know. I don't know about the afterlife. I don't know that much about, I know a little bit about karma, but I don't believe everything is forgiven. I believe to a certain extent, your soul might be tampered. I don't know. Well, again, why do I talk about these things? Because until you get leverage within your life, you will not be able to really figure out who you are. You could try, and you might be able to actually, but for the average person, you won't be able to really realize what you're meant to do and what you're meant to be until you become the person that you are meant to become, until you have leverage within your life. So when I talk about little hacks and staying with your parents so you can avoid paying rent and having to really deal with being an adult too soon, I say all of that to say this. Gain some sort of leverage within your life before you start making crazy life choices. I wish I would have worked a little bit more when I was younger. Every time I would go out to the city with my dad and hustle, you know, throw water bottles and ponchos and shit at Yankee games. I wish I was saving up all that money. I wish I would have learned how to drive a little bit earlier within my life. Those are leverage moves. Those are leverage plays, right? You have leverage if you have those things. But unfortunately, for a lot of us, sometimes we get the shorter end of the stick. That doesn't mean we're going to fail within life. That just means that we have to work a little bit harder. So it goes back to that idea of leverage. If you have leverage within your life, you might be able to skip some of the side quests that you might have to go through as a regular person. Leverage is key. Leverage might be knowledge, a whip, a place to stay, money, certification. Those all of those things are leverage, and you need it. Everything, young man, happens for a reason. I agree. Even you and I meeting tonight. Exactly, man. You giving me game. I'm learning from you. He's working a job, and you're not. Oh, this guy's not actually live streaming, restocking a Walmart shelf, making 12, working the graveyard shift. This is insane work for 3 viewers on YouTube. You see how crazy this society is? Me and RPS is talking real shit. We're going back and forth, exchanging ideas, exchanging value, right? You think I care about working? This is on autopilot. I came on this live to just talk because I like talking. When I first made this YouTube, yes, I was thinking about money. I was like, okay, I want to run this up. I want to do this. But now it's like still about money, yes. But now I like legitimately just giving value to people because this is the value that I wish I had when I was little. And you want to start talking about money and viewers. And I'm not making 12.50 an hour, brother. Lauren, I'm trolling. God bless, take care. Okay, I guess. Anyways, damn, I don't even know what I was talking about, man. I wish my mod was here, man. My man Pro John would have got y'all right. Shout out to Pro John, man. But yes, everything does happen for a reason. Everything that ever happens is made to happen, even the bad things, the terrible things, egregious things that happen in life. Especially since we were talking about God too. It's like the little time you have here on earth might pale in comparison to the riches that exist up above. That's a fact. If it exists, right? If you believe in that, it might pale in comparison. Our time on earth could be very brief compared to eternity in heaven and glory. That's something I'm starting to consider. People out here talking about trolling. It's like when people are giving information, it's like, why do we have these detractors that are come around and start talking about viewers and how much money we making? Money is abundance, yes, but it's one of the lower forms of abundance on the spiritual scale. I'm doing this job on autopilot. I could talk about the universe while stalking and making this owl look beautiful. I care more so about the value and talking and actually relating and exchanging words with people, the connection. That shit means a lot more to me than working some regular retail job. I'm just paying bills and saving money here, all right? You never know where this YouTube shit could take you. You never know who you could meet on live that could provide an opportunity for you, that could give you game, like RPS and some of the other people in the chat, actually going back and forth and talking to me about real shit, not what Kim Kardashian is doing or whatever other fucking stupid celebrity is out there doing, right? The value means a lot more to me than whatever people are talking about in terms of hourly pay and viewers and this and that. I just like talking. Someone is gonna come across this live and be like, that's a different way to look at something. That's my goal. You have all born in sin. It's given. Everything happens for a reason. Yup. Man is inherently good and bad. Not because we want to, but because, you know, it wouldn't make any sense. Could we be autonomous beings if we didn't have the ability to be bad? I think not. If we ask for God right now to give us the knowledge of good and evil, and he gives it to us, well, it's like, okay, cool. That means you got to reap what you sow at the end of the day. If you're capable of both good and bad, that means inherently on this earth, a lot of terrible things are gonna happen. But the ultimate gift is autonomy. So is it really all that bad? Being able to have your own conscious thought in exchange for some of the darkness, the evil, the shortcomings that might come your way, that's just what we asked for. Or what Adam and Eve asked for, I guess. Or what the system needs in order to make sense. Because if we were all just being fed a thought and all our thoughts are on our own, then it wouldn't really make existence really wouldn't make any sense. It really wouldn't. It'd just be like, well, we're here. We do whatever you tell us to do. It's like whatever. We might as well not be here, right? A conscious thought is why evil exists. Autonomy is why evil exists. Save me a box, need them puffs for my milk, man. Even with this job, like game is understanding that sometimes even your environment could teach you things. Because now that I know about all of these things, it's like, well, now I know how sugary all this stuff is. And then you look at it and you see a lot of cancer causing things in a lot of these ingredients and a lot of these products. So now I'm starting to veer away from this sugar, you know? And consciously, through understanding all of these things that are happening in this world, you'll start to realize, okay, cool. Well, what is eating these things? It's gluttony, right? Just overindulging, not giving yourself some time to breathe, not having control. The evil forces that control this world don't want you to have control. Why everywhere you look, man, I could talk about days about control, man. I could talk about days about how this entire thing is like made to be this way. This life is the test. If you, contrary to popular belief, this life really is the test. If you're aware to it, if you're aware of the things that's going on, it could be a relatively easy test to solve, right? You need to be aware of the test. Testing your will, testing who you are. It's all a test. Why we're taking this test, I don't know. Is it to get to heaven? Maybe. Is it just one big experiment and our lives exist on a computer? Who knows? All a test, though. All this food will kill you, Sally up. Facts. All of it is a distraction. Prayer and the right meditation keeps from all that. Man, I'm trying to get into prayer and meditation, man. I really need to integrate that more in my life. Wickedness is real, but deliverance brings new life, peace, and joy, a harmony you have never really knew. I agree. Like that distraction part. Everything is a distraction. That's so true, man. It really is. Everything really is just one big distraction. Like I don't think. Hey, let's talk about this Epstein's files shit. So now everybody's awake, and this shit happens all the time. People are like, okay, 9/11. All right, well, that was the government. Hopefully, YouTube doesn't flag me for this, right? But that was the government sort of operation by, George Bush or this and that. Now they starting to say we have these people within our government, other governments, our president, that saying he's in these files, these PDF files, right? Now the victims need justice. The victims need justice. Tell them Psalms 35 and Psalms 95. Victims of those files need justice, right? But being put on game, I can't do a flip. Me being put on game, I don't need to watch what's happening with the files every single day. Oh, this person is in it, that person is in it. I don't need to understand it because I already know that the world is evil. You know, if I know the nature of the beast, I already know to stay away from it. I'm already put on game about how this world go. I know that these people are evil, so I don't need to necessarily keep up what's going on with these files. What I'm more interested in is seeing if our president is implicated. Will he fall because of this? Where this world is going to go if that happens? Who's going to take over? These are the things I'm interested in about because that might fundamentally change my. I'm not a politics person, but that might fundamentally change my life and my plans. It's a crazy event. Is it all still the Roman circus? 120%. Yes. It's still all a distraction. Hopefully, I know about the Roman circus, man. Telem is a Hebrew word. If you know, I believe you, but you do not understand the true brevity and extent of it. I don't know what that word means, so please explain. That might be dead. Or is it two? What is it? One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, 14. Absolutely not. That won't fit. Put me on game, man. I don't know what that word means. I was talking about my job too. Imagine being able, like, I think this is fun. I'm able to talk to people on live and, you know, talk to people, meet new people, hear new things and ideas. And I'm not even thinking, right? So why am I telling people to get a overnight job? Well, because instead of being a daytime shift person that's doing probably nothing but just doing a little bare minimum work, especially if you're in retail, you could be working overnight, listening to music or podcasts, getting knowledge, getting game on shit. Because I'm able to focus, organize, and block this entire aisle and do this multiple times a night while making plans, writing notes down, taking mental notes of things for me to do. So there is value in working. There is value in working a job, especially one like this. Like I say, even with this job, I have a little bit of leverage. Because I don't think I would be able to deal with people during the day, right? That'd be a little tough for me. I don't inherently get along with a lot of people. He was and is a race of black people just like me. Yeah, I just learned the other day. I had someone actually tell me like 2 days ago that there actually could be um, Hebrew Israelites. Like they could be a black Jewish person, which I didn't know was possible. Yeah, I don't know a lot about these things. Language called linguistics in an ancient spoken word. That's interesting. Man, I hate when they do this shit. So crazy going on with all that stuff, man. This is not a political live stream, but it is kind of crazy what's going on with all that stuff. And I'll leave it at that, man. That's also not my fight. Maybe I should have a vested interest in understanding that. And just out of being a human being, I should try to understand where all this stuff is stemming from. But at one point in your life, you got to realize that some things just aren't your fight. You got to stay in your own lane. The people I look up to tell me that all the time. Stay in your lane. Some things aren't meant for you to get involved in. I almost bust my ass on this shit. Some fights aren't your fights. Not every fight is your fight. You'll know when it's your time to fight. You will, so what is it? You should. It is truly stemming. I will look into it. I do plan on becoming a more knowledgeable person in a lot of these topics. I do think it will benefit me greatly. You know, it's so crazy too because even on that topic, a lot of religion and you know, what is it called? A lot of religion is basically a game of telephone. Like I said before, we're all just taking a person's word for it, right? So a lot of stuff um might have been lost in translation. And from what I'm hearing from friends that I have that view on other sides of religious doctrines that isn't, I don't even really identify, unfortunately, as like Christian, and I can't say that I am because I don't really practice it or read the Bible like that. I was baptized as Christian, right? So maybe that gives me some sort of holy, attribute or some shit. But from what I'm hearing from my friends that veer on other sides of religious doctrines, uh, you know, when you make multiple versions of something, like let's say multiple books for a certain religion, which is Christianity, right? It starts to become lost in translation on what's actually true. And that religion has one book. And I always thought that was interesting. But then again, I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. I'm just saying from what other people have told me, is different, you know? And a large part of people and their religious sort of, um, let's say, what is the word? Criticisms is the fact that there's so much to know. There's so much lore. There's a lot of different varying opinions on it, which kind of tampers with its integrity. I do believe that's a thing that can mess with the integrity of certain belief systems. I do think it is plausible that if there are multiple interpretations, that we need one. We don't need multiple interpretations from 10 different people. We need one. But that's not what I think. That's what some people that I know think. I'm not really a religious person. I'm a more spiritual person, right? I like to experience God through life and what they tell me through the experiences that I have, what I can learn. And I veer on more on that side because I cannot learn religion and God from man. I don't even think I could learn it from a book, because man is writing this book. Man is speaking of religion. Man will write books and will make a version of it to push his own agenda. Man will have his own agenda when it comes to these things. What spirituality says, or what I think it says at least, is that I can experience God through my own experiences and through what they tell me through the experiences that I have. Universal truths like love, creativity, music, certain events that happen within my life. That's how I experience God. I think I would much rather trust that than a person I know nothing about. You know, or seeing people on a daily basis that put up this front that they are a part of this religion or that religion, and they are still just people I wouldn't trust or I wouldn't take any advice from. That's just me though. To each their own. You should good. The living in the Most High, Baruch, bless you and keep the living in the Most High. And without you and God, every step and bring joy and prosperity unto you. Exactly. So then you would say, "Who is my God?" Right? I don't believe multiple gods can exist. I believe there's just one universal sort of God, right? And that God is the Most High. And I love that term. I got that term from somebody else, but the Most High is like there could be this person, it could be that person, it could be the person that lives within your head, but the Most High is the one that stands above all of them, right? The one that is supreme, the supreme ruler. That is the Most High. Whoever that person is the person I believe in, or that entity, I should say. I also don't believe, you know, that you should just put everything in God's hands. At one point, you're gonna need to get up off your ass, take their advice, and do something about your life, right? Like I said before, God is the ones that's giving the directions. You're the driver. I don't think God will only want us to sit around and worship Him while we do nothing. Like we got to take action at one point in our lives, right? I don't think that's too crazy to say. Some people would just be like, "Put your faith in God." I agree. Yes, put your faith in God. Yeah, I agree. Right, but put a little bit of faith in yourself, even if it's 1%. If that 1% is enough to make you try and change your life, that's all that's needed. But you cannot just sit around and wait for things to happen. That's not life. That just fundamentally just doesn't make any sense. What's the point of life then? You still need to make it work. God will give you the instructions. You need to take them. At the end of the day, I seek to make positive change. Okay. If there are people out there doing negative, I need to be the positive that that balances that out. I told myself I want to start giving a lot more to other people because I've been blessed to be put in a different place within my life. So if I see someone that needs a couple of dollars or needs something, sometimes just randomly do things. Maybe I could be the positive entropy that exists within this universe. That positive factor when the negative factors arise. Maybe I could be that because I know the evil and the negative exists out there because man exists, right? Where the balance comes is you. You have to be the balance. I seek to change and do good. I'm having some trouble with it. Sometimes the ego comes through, but I'm trying to. It's a journey, right? It's a journey to be a better person. Oh man, this aisle is truly insane, man. I got a lot of things I gotta fix within myself. I'll tell you straight. Sometimes I get really mean. Sometimes I have terrible thoughts about people. I am not. That's why I would straight up tell someone I'm not a good person. I would. I don't believe that I've made the effort yet to call myself a good person. I'm a work in progress. I'll say that. I don't think I'm a good person yet. I don't think that positivity and good is something that's ingrained in me. I do believe there's people out there that have a universal standard of being good and positive. Maybe I'm not supposed to all the way be a perfect and positive person, but I want to become closer to that essence, right? Which is why you won't see me wearing crosses and getting tattoos and stuff. And I told myself I'm not going to get the tattoo that I want until I feel as if I'm ready, you know? It has to mean something. I can't just get it because I want to look cool and I want to get bitches and shit. Like, nah, that's fuck all that other shit. I'm trying to live within my purpose. And follow up, man, if y'all like to value what I'm saying or don't. Glad that you're here regardless, man. Keeping me company while I tackle this Thursday or this Friday morning, I should say. Blessed to have a job, man. Blessed to be in this position. It's all about gratitude, right? I remember sleeping on I remember sleeping on my boy's couch, wondering if this shit is gonna work out. I remember having $3,000 in my name, having to put half of that into a security deposit for a room. I'm still with that same landlord today. In that instance, God told me, just take that risk. It is what it is. You're gonna lose the money, but at one point you're gonna get it back. I'm starting to get it back now. But I fundamentally had to be like, yo, I'm not gonna go back to the city, stay with my dad. And now we're in a better place. I'm blessed because of that. I'm grateful for this opportunity. I'm not where I want to be at yet, but I'm grateful. When there's a will, there's a way, man. Trust in that. But you know, on the other side of this, I'm also a very dystopic sort of person. Like, I do believe, like, especially just on a worldly basis, shit will most likely end up just getting worse. I don't think shit is meant to get better. I do think life is the test. And I do believe also things were set at one point, right? That's just life, though. I don't think things are really meant to get better. It's probably going to get worse over time. Been in my faith for 37 years, and now that's through Torah. I'm 6 years linguistic proficient in Aramaic and Hebrew. The Torah is the Muslim book. I think that's the Muslim book, right? Muslim faith's book. I'm not Muslim, but I got my best friends are a Muslim, and I was thinking about it the other day. I'm not gonna say too much about them for privacy reasons and stuff, but the way that they move within their life, you know, if that is what you're talking about, not I'm sorry, but the way that really devout Muslims move within their life, the idea of fasting and what is this event that they're going through called again? Why am I not? I talk about it all the time, but no, their fasting event, uh, It's crazy. It's crazy. I'll say this: if you don't believe in God, fine. But what do you call the force? What do you call willpower that is ingrained in each and every single human being? What do you call that? If God has given us the hint that willpower is super powerful within our lives through, shows, animes like One Piece, in which willpower is weaponized and a person with the largest willpower is the most powerful, in comics and movies, like in the DC mythos with the Green Lantern mythos and stuff. If we know that willpower can be weaponized and used to dispel evil enemies, then what do you call that? What do you necessarily call that? Do you call that power, supreme power? What do you call a supreme power God then? I don't know. That's why I say, like, I'm starting to figure out that the way that we understand things in the English language or semantics, it might have it might have a good moral foundation, or what is this word that I'm trying to say? It might be plausible, right? Because just seeing how some people are so devout in their faith all over the world, especially in places other than, the United States, in which there's actual wars going on. You see them come from that country and just be so happy to just be alive and just willing to work and provide for themselves and have a better life. After literally going through just existential crises that I wouldn't be able to fathom as a first worlder. I don't know what else to call that other than God. Maybe God is just willpower and the ability to keep on going whenever you feel like you can't anymore. I don't know, but that's a part of it, right? I do believe that God could be displayed through man. Just depends on the man we're talking about. For the 12 back charge, the power man carries is corrupted, a lesser perverted power that contributes to his weakness. Yeah, the power man is corrupted. The association, I'm sorry to say, is not correct. Sub Princess, thank you for the sub. What is incorrect in my association? Again, I'm just an idiot that's stalking. I don't really know that much about all of this stuff. I'm just kind of spitballing my thoughts. I just be talking about shit. All of this, in my opinion, is futile because I know what I believe in terms of how this life is supposed to go for me, at least. Be a good person, seek your truth, and make change. Respect the universal laws of existence. That's what I believe in. But other than that, I'm just grasping at straws. I'll figure it out within time. I don't think everybody's conclusion is the same up until we die. Maybe at that point we'll learn, but for the time being, we're all just grasping at straws, essentially. I don't know. Maybe you could sense something, but What if whatever you're sensing is just some sort of illusion or delusion that's playing within your head? That's why you could say question everything, and which is what I do. But when you question everything, it's like you'll never get to an end. So at one point, your life has to start to delve into accepting that you won't understand these things and living more within life, not within those mystical parts of life that you're not really meant to understand. The power of the Most High, the power of the prophets, and the power of the fallen angels, and the powers of earthly men are all different things. I agree. That's just gonna keep me moving, right? What is this? Giant size? Yeah. At least they're starting to put the sizes, which so I don't have to just take it out and guess what size it is. Moving through this aisle fast, which is good too. Making good time. I just need to fast forward to tonight, man. Tonight is gonna be a nice shift, man. It's gonna be great. The day before you the night you have off is amazing. It's always a good shift because you know you're gonna be a little free, quote unquote, the next day. For a fact. Mm-hmm. 2:53, we're making amazing time. We'll be in the next aisle by hopefully 3:15. Oh, let me save this. Oh, I drink another water bottle. There's more. But I don't want to drink too much. Oh, I could drink more. I really do want to figure out how to because I have a GoPro, but I want to figure out how to do the bird. I figured out that the long form or the 16:9 landscape videos, live videos, don't do as well. I don't really get as many people to join as these sorts of lives. I did a live the other day that was popping while I was at home, and that shit was going crazy, man. That's one of the best lives I had, and it was great. And it was just a regular vertical video. I'm starting to figure out how this YouTube shit go. Like a lot of people are on their phones, but they. I mean, I guess it depends on your niche too. Because if you're gaming and stuff, if I could do a 9 by 16 gaming sort of live, I'll try to figure that out. Other than that, we're gonna have to make do a different way. reason. If you haven't subbed up yet, man, support me by subbing. That's the only thing I ask. You like the stream, you sub. Yeah, bro. No, 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 no. Just heads up. I'm like on a YouTube live right now, so I don't know if you want to be showing your face. Yeah. All right. I don't want to get in trouble by nobody. That's for you. You cereal? You like cinnamon crunch? The store has like a lot of good deals. I won't lie, especially this hour. I love the honey bunches of oats, man. That shit is fire. Honey bunches of oats is fire. Yeah, I would think that's a very like older sort of person. Raisin Bran, yo, the Raisin Bran Crunch be going crazy. That should be going crazy, man. A pretty good night so far, man. Like, I complain about this job a lot, but I don't hate working here by any means. It's just that the conditions are sort of fucked sometimes, especially when it's cold. It's like, why is it so cold in the store? Working in a big ass freezer. You just talk about investing. Investing is iffy for me, man. Investing is shot right now. I'll tell you this though. As soon as I come across a large sort of money, I would probably be investing in a property, probably like a gas station, a store, a bar, something like that. Maybe not a bar. I don't know if I want to be aiding and helping people drink their lives away. But entertainment, experience, marketing industry, some shit like that. I'll probably invest in putting your money in some sort of thing that's not physical. Just doesn't. I don't vibe with that. I like crypto. I like the idea of putting into the stock market, S&P 500, all that stuff. But for me, from what I'm seeing from people around me that I don't associate with, but seeing how they move with business, I don't think these people own stocks at all. I just think they own multiple properties that are making them millions a year. So that's my sort of thought process on that. If you have money, invest in a property. That is the most like it's still iffy. Yeah, it's still iffy, but that to me will make you more stable money and will give you the ultimate leverage out of anything else. Having land and property is the best investment you can make, in my opinion. Property serves multiple purposes. And you know what's crazy about that? Yes, I was that dude on Instagram reel telling people about night shifts. It's so crazy. Like RPS, you're good, man. You're good, man. I don't know if you're a female or a man, but you're good. I might not know that much about or agree that much about with what you're saying, but I'm open to all knowledge. I'm always going to be open to discussion. It'd be futile for me to not want to learn about things that I'm not knowledgeable on. And yes, has anybody else recognized me? My friend actually seen that video on Instagram and he tagged me. He added me on that Instagram because that was my new Instagram. And I was like, wow, like this video came from TikTok. It's so crazy because this is on YouTube. I don't think I've uploaded that video on YouTube yet. And that came from TikTok, which is insane. I don't want to be known for, working at a supermarket or overnight stocking. I want to be known for the game that I give, the knowledge and the advice, yeah. But it's just funny. I'll take the recognition, which is crazy. That's crazy. I also looked at my like the back end of my YouTube stuff. Does my boss? I don't think they really know, or if they probably do know, they probably just don't care. I think I do my job pretty well, so I think as soon as I start slacking and my aisles are looking fucked up, that's when they're gonna start to say something. But I'm chilling on that front. There's a lot of people that make videos at their job as long as they getting the shit done. Now, if I was a CIA asset and I was making TikTok videos about the CIA, I think that's when you're gonna start to get a little bit of pushback, right? But this job is straightforward as fuck. You mess this shit up, I don't know, man. That might be tough. But I'm not doing. I don't think I'm doing anything in it. I'm actually promoting. I don't think a lot of people know where I don't say where I work at on my videos, right? I try to keep that private. But you could probably figure it out, right? Um, but I'm in fact promoting they shit for free. If they was to make me head of marketing, I could probably make them a couple more extra thousand, maybe $1 million a year. Which is funny. I'm doing this shit for free. My last job which was a bar, I used to go to that bar all the time. I don't remember how many times I done made videos with my own camera, sat down for hours, edited it for them. They got recognition and hella clout for that, and I got paid nothing. Like I'm not doing this shit, uh, for like recognition. I should say. I just like talking to people about shit. I do want to grow the community, right? But I just be just doing shit. It's crazy though that you recognize me. That is me, yeah. Just funny. Like I said, I'm not a CIA agent talking about the secrets of. I'm not a national intelligence risk. I'm just talking about my job. But I have depression. I just sat home. So think about what I should be doing. Yeah, bro. If you're dealing with depression, you might need to like RPS said it. RPS said it themselves. Like remake yourself. Right? You gotta have a different mindset. Overnight job, I think, is the best place to start. You start there, work yourself up. It might be a couple years, man, but get some money in your pocket. Start living life in real life. Go out there, meet people. You'll be good, man. You'll be all right. Take it from me, bro. Take it from me. I'll openly talk about my mental health issues because there's no secrets, right? 6 a.m. to 3 p.m. That's my sleep schedule with no job yet, but you can't do that. You gotta get some money in your pocket. You're not made to be sleeping and just lounging around like that all the time. I used to be doing that shit too. Video games all the time, fucking around, not doing my shit, doing shit with my life. I tell you this though, bro. Listen to me when I say this. You still have time. Swear to God, you do. You take my advice now. You go try to get that job at Walmart. You try to go lock in. Not, I mean, fuck trying. You just go do it. Come back to me. You got some money in your pocket. You're doing more with your life. You just say, I did it. You don't gotta thank me. Just let me know. All right. Work overnight, grind a little bit, put some money in your pocket. And if you're at home, if you're 20 and you're at home and you're not, really paying for a lot of stuff, save your money. Maybe spend some stuff on the things that you like. Maybe take a trip or, you know, um, make your room a little bit nice, cozier. improve just be interested in stuff, right? Try to make your life better through you working, saving money, and then use it on the things you like as well, right? Life is too short to be harshly saving your money unless that's what you need to do, right? If you're staying at home doing nothing, you might need to go out there and experience something so your life could become something, right? You don't need to go out and learn and experience. Just like RPS said, remake yourself, bro. You have to get rid of that thought process. It was me like basically a year ago, working 2 days. Now I'm working full time. Might not have a thriving social life right now, but such is life. Sometimes you might need to go through that fire and lock in for a little bit before things could get better. That's just life. Take RPS's advice, take my advice, lock in, start going to the gym. Because when you go into the gym, you got something to fight for. Going to the gym is probably the best decision that anybody could make. Definitely was the best decision I've made in recent years, probably of my life. Because now I got something to fight for. Every single day I gotta fight that part of myself that doesn't want to go, or that just wants to eat the snacks and not be healthy, not try to stay on my goals, stay on the grind. I gotta fight that part of myself every single day. It's an internal battle. You need to be winning. I'm not saying you're gonna be winning every day, but you need to be winning more than you're losing. All right. If you're doing nothing in your life, I say start with a job and start with the gym. I think for a man, that is all you need. Everything else will fall in line. And God. Start with God, start with a job, start with the gym. Damn, I'm gonna be really happy for anybody stumbling upon this live at a later point, man. I think so much was talked about that was just so positive. Just great game being given out. Great talks, great knowledge being exchanged. This is what life is about. Me at least. Love it. I just love it all, man. Feels good. And I'm putting money in my pocket too. That's the best. I get to talk about things I'm interested in while putting some money in my pocket. Especially since, it's crazy, like off topic, but when you work and you save up for rent and then you put it away and then all you're doing is working for money to put in your pocket, it's the best. Because all that money is just yours. You don't gotta save for rent anymore. Which is why I also emphasize keeping expenses low as fuck. So you can actually be able to enjoy your money. How old are you? And how's your mental health? I'm 26, about to be 27. I think my mental health is in between. I think my mental health is pretty average. Yo, likewise, RPS man. I hope to see you again because you're just a great person to talk to. I know I don't see you physically, but I can see you spiritually. I can see you. I can see your soul. I could recognize your soul, and I think that's important. I'm 26. I'd say my mental health is exactly where it needs to be. And I say that because I don't know. I still got a lot of work to do. A lot of stuff I probably just won't ever say in reality to another person because a lot of things are just personal to me. But I'm figuring it out. It's the most you can ask from a person nowadays, right? feel like a lot of subscribers would sense within me if something was wrong. Friends and family too, probably. Hopefully, hopefully family. Definitely some of my best friends. You live with parents or alone? What age I moved? I was at college, and I decided I couldn't keep on going in between college and school. So I took my refund check. I put it down. I put the first or the security deposit for a room in my college town, and I've been here ever since, just working. Switched jobs one time, lost that job. Now I work a retail job as a stalker. My rent is $750 a month. My expenses are extremely low. My expenses outside of rent is like some tax stuff, you know, and like Amazon Prime, Walmart Plus if I need anything that day. I'm still like it's so crazy because I'm still really bad at saving, but now I make so much. Like when you go from working 2 days to working six, that shit damn near puts you in a different tax bracket. That's why I don't know. Like I always tell people to start working early and start working more because it really does make a world of a difference. For years, I didn't have like more than $400 to my name at a time, and then Shalom, uh, I didn't have more than $400 at a time in my savings, and I didn't really know how to save. And I still really just am. I'm probably more terrible with saving now because I can spend more on myself, right? Way more. But now it's just at the point where I'm spending more than I'm saving more than I'm spending, so it doesn't catch up. I'm just making way more than I'm making way more at a faster rate than what I'm spending, which is a good thing. That's a good problem to have. A great problem. That is the problem to have in this life. Like if I worked 7 days a week, right? Or if I had something that made me passive money, kind of like YouTube. YouTube is like passive money for me to a certain extent. If I went a little harder within YouTube, it could probably become a really good passive income source that could make me at least another $1,000 to $2,000 a month at the very least. If I really like locked in, which I do plan on doing. New stuff coming to the channel soon. Um, but if I started making an extra $1,000 a month, life really gets crazy from there. And I know that's crazy as a person that's not really making anything close to what he wants to be making, but it only works that way if your expenses are low. If you're not paying $8,000 a month for your fucking apartment, that's an exaggeration. But imagine you could live in a. Imagine that's why I was like, I made that video, that TikTok or that Instagram where I was like, a YouTube reel. I'm sorry, my words are everywhere. I was talking about why, like, why it's good to like work a job as a youngin if you're living rent free. And everybody was raging in the comments talking about, oh yeah, we have too many leechers, and I'm like, bro, like these kids are like 18, 19, 20. What do you expect them to do? You don't want them to have a little head start. Yeah, they could, of course, pay for stuff. No one's saying to just totally leech, right? It wasn't a part of the video. But I was saying that because once you have to start paying for rent, bruh, it's no joke. Especially if your rent is high. I live in New York. The rent is high as fuck. I mean, not for me, right? I tell people this all the time. If my rent was like $500, I'd be like this every weekend, like this, on a cruise somewhere. are you in are you in Canada or America? America. I'd be on a cruise somewhere like this. Like that one kid that's in the party and he's like, if my rent was $500, man, trust, I could make that in half in basically like 4 days. $500 rent. Imagine the rest of the month you just putting that money in your pocket. Come on now, man. Get on game. Get on program. You're living with your parents, man. Well, let's not say you're living with your parents. Like if you just living rent free somewhere and you're not working, man. Oh my God, you're missing out on the opportunity of the century. You could work for 5 years, put a large amount of money in your pocket, and be really good off that if you know how to like manage your money, manage your bread. So I say that because I know a lot of people are gonna be in that situation, especially the younger kids. I say younger, I'm 26, but I'm really talking to people that's like 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Don't know what they do. Like you don't need to know what you want to do in this life. I know that you need money though. Feel me? I know that you're gonna need some sort of capital. Imagine being able to save up, I don't know, $3,000 every month. In 3 months you got 9K. In 12 months you got 36. They say more people in the United States, like more than like maybe I think 70% of the people in the United States don't got $1,000 saved up. We're talking about $36,000 you could save up if you just work for a year. You're saving up $3,000 a month. If it was 2,000, it'd be fucking 24,000. That's a lot of money, man. Be put motherfuckers on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok talking about you're still broke if you don't make $1 million a year. These people are fucking retarded, bro. These people don't know what the fuck they're talking about, and they're so out of touch. And the regular person don't need to be making $1 million a year. The regular person that's making $1 million a year, their life is probably going to end faster than a person that's making fucking $24,000 a year. That Biggie Smalls song, right? More money, more problems. All right, get on game. That money shit ain't everything. Stable income, a good family, happiness, stability. That's something. But no, the regular person don't need to be making that much money a year. It's all about how you leverage yourself and all about what you have at your fingertips to get you in a better place. Because my dream right now is to have an apartment, and then it's going to be to have a loft, and then eventually a house. I want to be a full time content creator that's living in New York City, has a nice high rise apartment. I could look at the city skyline every single night. That is my dream. But a couple years ago, my dream was to have my own room. Now I have that. It just depends on what you want. Do you not have a choice to live with family? No, I don't. I don't have space living with my dad or my mom. Couldn't do that. I couldn't do that because I realized that I couldn't grow while living with them. Not because they were holding me back, but because the living situation was holding me back. Especially when I got my PC, my dad telling me when I could use it, to turn it off at certain times at night, telling me when I had to be back. I was tired of going through that just back and forth between school, the city. I used going to school as an escape. I didn't even know what I was going for school for. I was undecided. I just knew I just didn't want to be in the Bronx. That's all I knew. I was like, scratch that. I'm gonna go live upstate in the dorms. Go have the time of my life. That was all I wanted. And then it would be sad when I would have to go back and start living over there again and shit. I'm like, damn, bro. And I got in a situation with my mom and all this other shit. And then it was all uphill from there because that's when I got my like first job. And even then I wasn't even saving money. I was just bullshitting. But such is life, you know? You're gonna learn from your mistakes eventually. I just happened to learn from mine just recently, last year. What was my mistake? Not saving. Deal with it. Now you know. Sometimes it's as simple as that. You don't gotta dwell. Sometimes you just gotta You gotta say it is what it is and be a better person the next day. But yes, get a job and start working. Save your money because eventually you're gonna have to move out, right? Hopefully, just for your own development, right? Unless you really know how to leverage yourself and you got a plan. But eventually you're gonna have to start leveraging or seeking some sort of new activities. So which age did you move? Um I moved at well, I started living by myself around I'd say 22. It's been 4 years now. 22, I'm 26, yep. That was definitely the best decision of my life, for sure. Undoubtedly. Because at that point, it's in your hands, right? When you move out and when you can control your life, that's when the ball is in your court. But until you do so, you're always playing in somebody else's court. You don't have the home team advantage. Cooking with these quotes, man. I just be coming up off the top with these quotes, man. I be cooking. Until you move out, unless your parents let you do whatever you want, which is not a good parent, I don't think. But until you move out, the ball is always going to be in their court. You got to abide by their rules. You don't have the home team advantage. But when you get your own shit, man, you are the king of your own castle. And it's a good feeling when you got that leverage. Leverage is the word, man. Leverage is the word of this year. If you don't have leverage, you need to figure out how to get it. Like, what do y'all think the CIA is? Leveraging intel to use against its enemies or to make its country better. Stay with me now. Sometimes parents might know what's best for you in the moment, but at one point you gotta realize what's best for you over time. Pure cinema, man. Gotta get to this pasta aisle. What was good for you yesterday ain't gonna be good for you today. What was good for you a second ago isn't what's good for you right now in this current moment. Life is always happening and it's always changing. That's the entropy. That's the effect of the universe. It's always changing, man. You got to know how to adapt. Because there's a lot of people that I tell you right now too, that going to a trade school might 100 or joining a union might 100% be better than going to college. I went to school for photography. Me knowing how to take pictures for me right now is not going to put money in my pocket until I get that whip, right? But I didn't have the money to get a whip back then. I didn't have the money to have my even my own room and apartment back then. So I'm just building up my leverage, right? And once you start stacking leverage, that's when you really start to cook as an individual. You got the certifications to do electricity, wiring, all this other stuff. You got the whip. You got the certification, so you could go anywhere and be an electrician or be a plumber, have a trade. That's leverage, man. Now, those jobs are always going to be in market. People always going to need plumbers, security guards, even stalkers to a certain extent. A lot of people say like a lot of the white collar jobs, maybe even blue collar jobs, are going to get replaced with AI. I'm like, bro, that shit is far out. I'm not going to be alive when that sort of shit happens. We would need a lot. We would need a leap of which might happen. This is already the what is it called? The singularity. We're already going through the singularity of AI right now. So we would need a quantum leap for AI to take over all jobs and for all of us to just be living in cubicles, just typing on a computer every single day. We would need a quantum leap. That sort of stuff ain't possible right now. It's just that's just the truth. They even saying if we had quantum computers, it just wouldn't be efficient, which takes away all of the um the use case. Quantum computers supposed to make things faster, not make things harder and less efficient. If we give a quantum computer a problem and it takes 10 years to figure it out, that shit ain't quantum. It's just a regular fast computer. So all of this other stuff is far out. Look at what people are saying. You take you get TTS so you hear. You should get TTS so you hear. It's TikTok shop. What is TTS? So you hear comments in your ear. Bro, I'm trying to figure out how to have the comments go on my ear without looking at the phone. I don't know how to do that. I'm gonna look into that TTS stuff, whatever that is. No, I don't have a car. I walk to my job. Like, even not having a car taught me a lot. It's like even when I get it, that shit is probably gonna give me more problems, but it'll make day to day life a little bit easier. That's leverage. But sometimes you trade things with leverage, right? When you get a car, it's like, okay, well now I'm trading walking for faster transportation, but now I'm trading money if anything fails. I'm trading the headache of seasonal fuck ups with the car. So everything is a trade. Everything is a give and pull. That's why I talk about balance and entropy within this life. It all comes back to balance. Some things you might have to give up for others in order to have that thing. Depends on how bad you want it. You want it bad enough, you'll just be like, all right, whatever. Oh, I can take the shortcomings of this thing. But if it doesn't make any sense, then you might have to pivot and be like, all right, maybe this is not good for me right now, you know? I'll be done with this aisle probably in the next 2 minutes. We'll have a couple hours to finish this aisle. We'll go to the gym, go home, eat, sleep, fast forward to tonight. It'll be a good one. It'll be a good night, man. The night before we have off is always a good night. It's always exciting. This is why I'm happy that this shift is going so good. Are you allowed a mini speaker to speak out comments? Maybe wait for responses and convenient. Oh, I didn't know that. Fuck. Thanks for telling me. Are you allowed a mini speaker to speak out comments? Probably not. That probably just get really annoying over time. If there's a delay, that's probably a connection issue rather than a me issue. Unless the delay is me walking back and forth to see the comments, and I could fix that. I just can't always be holding my phone because I have to work, you know? Which is why when I come on these lives, I emphasize more so just speaking my mind rather than like I try to address comments and stuff. But when I address a comment, I'll usually go on a rift and speak about it for like a minute or so, and then go back because I could get so much done within a minute. If I'm like always going back and forth with the phone, I won't get any work done. It's kind of like the standard I have to, if my job really knows I do lives and videos and stuff, it's the standard I have to uphold for myself. So they at least could be okay with that in my mind. It's just like I'm here for a good 30 minutes, so just a quick response would be good. I get you, bro. Yeah, I definitely recommend working, man. You definitely want to put in some sort of pain. Thanks for likes. Y'all sub up if you're not. How can a really easy job? It's easy. Being fit and going to the gym makes it a lot easier too. And I'll give you game. I'll give you I'll give you game that maybe other people would give you, but I wouldn't work at a job unless they allowed me to wear headphones. These I wouldn't. Or a stocking job. I wouldn't get another job like this unless they allowed me to do this. Would you recommend me a salesperson at a car dealership or not? Oh man, car dealerships, I don't know that much about it because I don't drive right now, so I wouldn't know. But be careful when going to them dealerships, boy. They be getting somebody. They get you. You don't want to come across a really good businessman that's also shady. Shady businessman is the worst and most effective because he'll really sell you a car. And then like a month later, a problem he knew about, which you couldn't address in a moment, will start arising because he was so good with convincing you that this was the purchase of the century. He's gonna get your ass, man. When I get my whip, I'm gonna ask a couple of people. I probably ask one of my family members if they have a car that they're not using first, and then I'll go and consult my friends about where to go. The salesperson basically works in commission, so if they sell a car, they get the money. If they don't, they get nothing. Yeah, I mean, a salesperson would be the most shadiest person because that commission-based salespeople could probably be the most shadiest people because their entire business model is to get you to buy something so they get a cut of it. So they're gonna do any and everything to get you to do that. Unless that person is honorable, which you can't tell just by meeting them, right? Or unless you know them. I'd go to someone that if your family member has went to this person, you should most likely go to that person too. Or a good friend and they sold you something that's good. I would say just family members, but if you go to a salesperson, consult a family member that has previously went with them, their car is still working to this day, you might as well go to them. Because if they do you wrong, they're basically doing that family member wrong, right? And if your family member trusts them, you should trust them as well. When I got this phone, these iPhones, they supposed to allow you to take the phone, buy the phone, and fuck all that commission shit, fuck having to pay them extra to set the phone up. You're supposed to be able to just take it back home and set up yourself. These people, especially at Boost Mobile, they will set it up for you and force you into that commission, which is crazy. They literally won't give you the phone unless they set it up for you. If you know about phones, you can set it up yourself. Just get the SIM card and put it in, call a little number, and it'll unlock, it'll activate. But what they like to do is take the phone for you, set it up, and they'll I mean, Boost Mobile is overall just a really fucked up company. Boost Mobile, if you're listening to this, I hate y'all. Y'all are terrible. If you work for Boost Mobile too, you should be ashamed of yourself. We need to bring back public shaming, all right? But them Boost Mobile motherfuckers will try to get the commission out of you just with selling a phone, and they'll set it up for you just because of that. That car's not really that important. Like, it's a liability in my opinion. Else you're bailing. That's your balling, yeah. Depends on if you really want it or need it. I mean, if you need it, then yeah, go get it. But if not, then there's a lot of countries where people don't drive; they just take trams and trains and shit. China's one of those places. But also, American culture says you're nothing if you don't have a car, if you don't have your own place or this or that. And that's just modern day indoctrination, right? Get it unless you want to. Have you ever had a car and do you have interest in cars? No, I haven't. And I have an interest in them. I think I'm more so interested in making like $5,000 to $10,000 a month. If I started doing that right now with a job, I'd probably move to the city and just live my life instead of getting a whip, right? Because my happiness would be based more from my experiences, like traveling, going places and shit, which could, is gonna need a car and whatnot. But I don't listen to other people. I don't listen to what bitches think I need. I don't listen to what people online think I need. I take advice, yes, but what I want is a better job, better circumstances. If those things come before the whip, then so be it. But I'm not gonna get shit just because people would try to bully you into getting it. I'm not a bitch. I know exactly how my life is laid out, and I'm gonna do things at my pace. A lot of people that compromise themselves just because other people think things are cool, you're just a bitch, bro. Live your life the way you want to. Only you understand your situation. I told myself I'm not listening to people no more unless I know that their information is reputable or unless they really speaking to me in a way that I could tell that they're really trying to help. Because comes the other random people trying to decide your value, that shit goes through one ear and out the other. You should, like you alluded to, so I should travel. I think traveling is very bad. Traveling ain't bad. Depends on what you're doing with it. I'm gonna turn off the video for a second because I have to go in a place where I can't show. Um, so yeah, we're done with this aisle. Let's go ahead and go to this next aisle now. At the end of the day, if you want it and you can get it, get it. You know, you don't need that job first, right? You don't need to get that job first. Put in some pain for a while. In general, America is just a weird place because it'll convince you that you need certain things. It'll convince you that you're this and that, and that'll just be indoctrination. I like America, but I like to make this joke like, what else is America about other than sports betting, beer, and hot dogs on Super Bowl Sunday? We're kind of just here. There's so many cultures that exist at once that one culture just doesn't exist at all. It's kind of like that saying: when you make a place for everybody, you make a place for nobody. And in reality, America's culture is just business. America is the biggest business in the world. It's not a country; it's a business. It's one big business, and we're all the consumers. Especially if you've been to mass metropolises like New York, LA, Miami, you're really gonna see how business oriented most of the world is. And now you're a check to somebody or you're a customer. That's mythical level game though. That's game you gonna understand only if you get it. Every time a big bulk of money to even go like travel. Yeah. Do you drink or smoke? I drink a little bit. I don't smoke at all anymore, at least from Canada. What is your diet like? I used to eat like a lot of rice and chicken. Now what I eat is a lot of rice and tuna, even though I'm not supposed to eat tuna all the time. I like a lot of rice and tuna. Um, on my cheat days, which is like Wednesday and Sunday, I'll have a salad or some Jamaican food. But in reality, all I eat is rice with a protein. So it'll be rice and chicken or rice and tuna with black beans and a piece of bread, a bag of chips, and some ginger beer. So it's pretty modest. It's all right. It could be healthier, right? But yeah, I'm trying to move away from the sweets and the cookies. I'm not really a sweets person anymore now. Like if I want a sweet right now, I'll probably go get an apple. 5, 6, 7, 8. Don't mind me. I just got to do counts. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. See what else is said. Got a lot of friends. How long do you have growing up, Lonnie? I have friends from back home and I have friends up here. All amazing friends. I don't get to see them as much, but I see them whenever I can. 2021, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. Choose your friends carefully, all right? One, one, two. Man, ugh. Bad, I'm just doing this. Fine. What's up, Patricia? How we doing? 63. Okay, for that, let's move on to the next one. Yeah, I have a great relationship with my friends. Figured out over the years, I don't really like much people, especially since I'm growing. You know, you start to just having less and less friends. I don't think having a large friend group is healthy, unless you really mess with all of them, which is rare, very rare. Other than that, I just be cool and working and cool and I just made my setup better. I got a better computer. Yeah. I'm finna end this live, man. I'm gonna end. This aisle, I gotta lock in. I gotta lock in for this aisle. The pasta aisle, man. We must. We must lock in. Okay, guys. Thanks for joining. Or 9350. Thank you for joining. If you have any more questions that you want me to answer, man. No, our reset isn't happening for like another like 2 months, I think. 2 or 3 months. No resets yet. Thanks for joining. If y'all have any more questions, man, leave any comments on videos. I go live all the time, man. Y'all let me know. You'll find your friends, bro. I'm your friend. I'm here for you. But I am gonna end this. I have to lock in for this aisle. It's a lot of shit. Y'all have a good night. I'll be live probably tomorrow as well.